It was a straightforward experience. It was very interesting for myself. The experience started out that I was walking in this snowy area. It was snowing. It was like a winter time or something, but there was snow all around. And I went inside to this cabin. And the idea of going inside of this cabin was I was looking for somebody who was willing to play chess with me. I was carrying around my little green, little kind of like a quiver, like for arrows. It's kind of like has that shape. The chessboard rolls up. It's like a mat. And I was carrying that with myself on my right shoulder. So the green representing, the earth, the right shoulder is more so not necessarily like a literal idea, just looking for people to sort of participate. And anyways, I was going through this cabin or like this house, and I was looking for these people. And a lot of them were just very religious. Not all of them, but generally that was sort of the consciousness of the house area. It was very religious. Yeah, just that was the overall consciousness. And I remember I was still looking around for somebody, and I found a few people that were willing to see what was going on with me, but they still had their very religious ideas, where they would try to kind of preach to me, and I was just kind of very uninterested. So I just kind of, left the house. I said, okay, well, that's it. There's no one really here. And as I was leaving the house area, all of a sudden, one of these girls came running out, and she had these very thick glasses with these very thick lenses. She was a young girl my age. And again, seeing that, she sort of took the risk to come out of the house and see what was going on with me. And she said she was willing to play. And she had this box of stuff with her. She brought along this box of stuff. It had like a blanket on top, and there was like books inside of this kind of wooden crate, kind of very old traditional ideas. And the blanket she was actually carrying with her was like a hand knitted, what do you call them? Not crochet, knitted, like a knitted blanket. And it was kind of had that old kind of style. And the way she kind of dressed reminded me of like an old fashioned type of thing. So there was their kind of very traditional ideas, but she was willing to kind of play along and see, what was going on. And again, these thick frame glasses representing the physical or the earth. So somebody that's, willing to get outside of that religious idea and kind of see what we're all about, possibly even willing to take part in all of what we got going on, but, just seeing it go as a step at a time. And that was the experience. I remember we walked off into the snow, and we had turned from facing each other toward the right-hand side. So something yet to show up. So I just wanted to share that experience. Thank you.
Yeah, those are fun, Jeremy. And, some of these people, sometimes you're going to meet them here in the physical. And if it's, the rim glasses, of course, that's physical. And really thick, well, again, that's like a person that's, you might say, very literal, because they're very magnified into what they're doing. Their personal self is just very magnified with that. But yeah, it's all good. I remember one time, I told the story before, but many years ago, probably 25 years ago, I met this fellow over here on the phone. I forget how we met, but he's very literal with the Constitution. And the night before that I had a conversation with him, there's a phone call lined up. I saw him on the real side right in front of me, and his head kind of turned into a square, like it was clay, kind of turned into a square right in front of me. And there's an old cartoon way before you were here. It's called Pokey. It's this little horse, and it's these clay figures. And they used to have these two characters that were driving around in this convertible, and they had square heads. I don't forget what they called the knuckleheads or whatever, but it reminded me of that. But right in front of me, his head turned into like a cube, like a piece of clay. And then when I met him, talked to him the very next day, because anything in front of you is present. If it's to the left, it's somebody you know, or it's in the past. If it's to the right, it's more future, to see what's coming, etc. So get ready, heads up. But this was right in front of me, and so met him the next day, talked to him, and he was very, very over literalized about the Constitution and that it's a total necessary, the law of the land, and it should be studied. And he was breaking it down and whatever, etc. So these people that you're seeing, it's always fun to see if they do show up in your personal life. And the personal life is very, very important. And so these experiences that we're having, we're setting up things with people and meeting people from a different viewpoint of themselves. And they themselves have, they have a time and they've got to, they just, in other words, they really have to deal with a lot just to manage themselves from where they're at. And it's the daughter that I had, Lindsay, I see her on the real side sometimes, and she's kind of nice. Well, here she's different, so she has to manage that personal self here. So it's a challenge for all of us to have these real side experiences and to be able to have the awareness to also manage here because of all that we have to deal with. But that's part of the adventure too, as you meet some of these people, the aliens or whatever. But that's great. And the chessboard again. In other words, who wants to play chess and take on the challenge? Because every game is new, and so you learn more each time, don't you? A little bit more how to play the game, and that's what it is here, a big chessboard.